Welcome to the channel Learning R is Fun. In the last videos, we have covered the basic data types in R such as vectors, lists, matrices, arrays and data frames. We have used some functions such as concatenation, the C function, list, matrix, array and data frame, etc. In this video, we will see what are functions and how to create and exploit the functions. A function is a set of statements organized together to perform a specific task. R has a lot of built-in functions. Further, the packages have their own functions which become available when the packages are installed and loaded into the memory. Functions are treated as objects in R. R operators call functions indirectly with the operands as arguments. To make it clear as to why it's worthwhile the trouble to divide a program into functions, let us see some reasons. Creating a new function gives you an opportunity to name a group of statements, which in turn makes your program easier to read and debug. Functions can make a program smaller by eliminating repetitive code. Later, if we make a change, we only have to make it in one place. Dividing a long program into functions allows one to debug the parts one at a time and then assemble them. Well-designed functions are often useful for many programs. Once we write it and debug, then we can reuse it. Most of the functions supplied as part of R system, such as mean, var, which is variance, and so on, are themselves written in R and thus do not differ materially from user-written functions. The functions of R can be broadly categorized as those built in either through base R or through packages or in the form of operators. Other category is the user-defined in the programs. There are three activities involved with functions. The first is to give an appropriate name to the function. The second is to define the function, statements, arguments and the return value. The third is to invoke the function supplying the arguments and collect the return value for further processing. Such an invocation will get the function to perform and return the value returned by the return function at the end of the function body. When this statement is not found, then the last evaluated value would be returned. Value here is an expression. For returning more than one value, we need to return a list. When nothing is to be returned, null is returned. Some of the built-in functions we have already come across in the previous videos have been shown on the screen. An R function is created by using the keyword function. The basic syntax of an R function definition is function name, assignment symbol, function keyword, then parenthesis, arguments, then followed by a curly brace where function body and return statement is written, then the curly brace closes. The different parts of a function are function name, that is the actual name of the function. It is stored in an R environment as an object with this name. Arguments, which are placeholders. When a function is invoked, we pass value to these arguments. Arguments are optional, that is a function may contain no arguments. Also, arguments can have default values. The function body contains a collection of statements which define what the function does. Return value of a function is the last expression in the function body to be evaluated. Now with this background, let us go to RStudio session. We have got the script in the RStudio for today's session, and let's start with the statement at serial number 6. We are defining a function f1 and we are giving an argument a. In the function body we write print and then within parenthesis we write a concatenation function for two objects. One is hello, another is this A. What is A? We have not yet defined, and let us see whether R accepts this F1. So we'll enter, control enter. R has accepted F1 and it has not given any complaint and it has given the next prompt. Now we will do the function call. F1 within quotes I will give NAT. So what I am giving as NAT will go into A. So we expect hello NAT as a return value. Let's see F1 NAT. Hello NAT. We got two strings. One which we supplied, one which was already inside the function. Print function basically prints what is available. If you don't write print and then only write C function, then also you will get the same result. Okay, we'll move on. We'll create now F2 variable in which we'll define a function. Again we'll give A, and we have not yet defined what is A. Inside that we give a paste function. Paste function pastes all the strings which we give within the parenthesis. So this is a paste function. We give one argument hello, another argument A, another argument howdy. And we give a separator which is an argument again. The name of the argument is sep, and sep is equal to, we give nothing. That means there is no space. So these have to be joined together. Okay. This is what is the function, and we will call this function with the F2. Again we will give NAT. So let me execute this statement. F2 is created. Now let me ask what is F2 NAT. So I get hello NAT howdy. So here if you look at this hello, then one space is there. That space is available. Then NAT is coming. Then immediately we have howdy, where one comma is there and howdy follows. So the comma and howdy comes here. So this is how this whole thing functions. Now let us go for next statement, which is F3, where we have three arguments P, Q and R. And inside the curly braces in the function body, we assign S with P plus 2 into Q plus 3 into R. And then we print the S. So let us see what is F3 now. F3 has been defined and there is no complaint. F3, then we give 1, 1, 1. That means we want to give 1 to P, 1 to Q, 1 to R. Then we are supposed to get the answer 6. How? 1 plus 2 into 1, 2, 3, 3 into 1, 3, 6. So we got it. Now we'll give with the lesser arguments. That is, we are giving only two arguments, P and Q. We are not giving R. In that call, what happens? Argument R is missing with no default. That means we can give a default, then this problem will not be there. We'll try this also. F3, 1, 1, then also we get the same error. Now we'll go for giving default arguments. We'll give P is 1, Q is 1, R is 1. These are the default arguments. But what we give inside the function call will take precedence. The same function body. So let me execute F4. So F4 function, F4 where object has been created, which is a function object, in which again I'll make a call F4 1, 1, 1. So I should get 6 as usual. Now I give 2, 3, 4. So P is 2, 2 into 3 is 6, that is 8. Then 4 into 3 is 12, I may get 20. I'm getting 20. So this is how it operates. Now suppose I have defined the F4 with the default arguments. In that case, if I don't give one argument, what happens? F4 1, 1. That means P and Q I have given, R I have not given, so it will take as 1. So I must get 6. I am getting 6. If I give only 1, in that case, Q and R will be supplied as 1 and 1. Then also I should get 6. I am getting 6. I don't give any arguments, then also default arguments kick in, so I get 6. Now I give R is 4, P and Q will be 1. 1 plus 2, 3 plus 3 into 4, 12, 15. So we get 15. We will now define a function In this case, we will return a list, that is more than one value will return. Let us look at the function body. In the function body, we write a mylist and then give a list function. So an empty mylist will be created. Then what we do, we create a for loop in which we write I in 1 colon A. If A is 4, then 1 colon 4 will give you values 1 to 4. So for loop will be done 4 times. If it is 1 colon 10, then for loop will be done 10 times. Okay, so let us take the values 1 and then 1 caret 2, that means 1 square. So B takes 1 square, that is B takes value 1. And now I am going to give the first index, my list 1, I is 1 presently, and here I have got 1 square, that is 1. So I am adding the first element to the empty my list, and that is done. After that I come to the for loop again. In the for loop, the second value is taken. So that square is taken into the list. Like this I create my list till the complete values are obtained. After which I print the my list. The whole thing is in the function body because the parenthesis starts here and ends here. Then I am also returning a statement, I have printed the list. Let's see what happens. So first we will create the function named F5. Okay. The function has been created. For each line in the console you see 1 plus, it means that it is waiting for the last curly brace, then afterwards it gives the prompt. Now F5 has been defined. Now what we'll do, since there is a my list which has been created inside the function, let me see new.list, I will assign my list to it. Whether this is going to happen, it will not work. Object my list not found, because my list was defined inside the function scope, so outside of the function scope my list is not known. But instead F5 5 I will give. So here A will become 5. So empty list will be taken 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square. So 5 values will get details. Now this assignment F5 of 5 to new list has taken place, but the new list is not being displayed. What is displayed is print my list statement. So my list is now displayed here in the console, and new list is assigned with the return statement, that is I have printed the list. So if you ask what is new list here, we'll see that information. New dot list. So I have printed the list. That information has been assigned to new list. So the return statement has been assigned to new list, and the function which is there in the function body has taken place, and print my list also has taken place. Hope you understand this. Now let's go to a situation where return value of a function when no return statement is specified. Here in the previous example we got a return statement specified. So in this example there is no return statement specified. So in such a case what happens? Let's see. F6 is the new variable and the function definition is same. And here what we are doing, we are not writing any print my list, we are not writing any I have printed the list, etc. And simply we are taking this statement F6, let us execute, and then we'll ask what is F6. Sorry. So since there is no function call, F6 is simply displaying that function. So if we ask what is the F6 of, say, let's see, F6 of 3, sorry, in the console we'll say F6 of 3. We don't get anything. Why? Because here there is nothing returned. Now let's see, last evaluated value to be returned. So in this case we have a statement where some value is there, same F6, but we have added this. Now let's see what happens to this F6. So first let us take the definition in F6. Now we'll ask what is F6 of 3. We get 12 plus 24, 36, and 3 has got nothing to do with this answer because return value is the last evaluated value and 3 goes inside this, and my list is now getting defined here, but unfortunately my list is not coming out of this function, so it is lost. Let's go to the third case where more than one value returned as a list. Here I am going to specifically say this is my return value by stating this as the last evaluated value. So now in this case F7, let's see what happens. We'll take this function definition. Now we'll say F7 of 4. F7 of 4 has now given me the list, because here my list is the last evaluated statement. So there are 3 cases we have explored. In first case there is no return value, so F6 function does not do anything, whereas here a return value is given and it is independent of what is being done in the function body, therefore only this is coming out and this happens, but there is no storing of this value, so the whole function purpose is lost here. In this case we properly return that what we are doing in the function body, so that comes out as a result. So now you understood how R is treating the return value. So we have come to the end of the session. In this video we have covered many aspects of functions such as creating them, exploiting them with the default arguments, positional or named arguments, etc. In our next video we will see how R deals with control structures such as if, else, while and for loops. Till then, bye from me. Thanks for watching.